might ask the question, where is the human? Where is it? Well, you can't say where because everywhere has to be in relation to something. Where is the human? Where is the human? It isn't anywhere. Who is asking the question? Who are you? Find out. Because that's the thing you need. Where is it?
What's up, you lot? It's good to see your guys' faces again. I hope you guys enjoyed that 1 minute little cinematic video. Today's video is something completely different and something I've been wanting to make for such a long time now. It is my review of the DJI Mavic Mini. So I bought the Mavic Mini fly mode combo. I get controller, I get 3 batteries, which is pretty sick. Get the drone, obviously, extra propellers, propeller guards, and a bunch of other things that I can't really be too bothered about because the only thing that's important is the batteries, the controller, and the drone itself. Let's get into this video. The first thing that I absolutely love about this drone is the size factor. Obviously there is that 249 gram business. The size factor is so small. That's my hand. I've got quite big hands, I guess. This is a deodorant bottle for comparison. It is tiny, to be honest with you. But the thing is, in most cases, I'm not just carrying around the size of that drone. I'm carrying around the actual box that you get with it. I bought the fly mode combo. So there's the drone, the controller, and the battery pack goes up there. So most of the time I'm lugging around this thing. I mean, it's kind of a bit of a pain, but like at the same time, I know all my drone stuff is in here, and I know my drone stuff is also protected because it is quite nice, like a hard shell for the drone. But with the size factor, I'm one of those creators who's always traveling, going out on little missions. So having a drone that's this small that I can travel with, I can just throw in my backpack, and it's not really taking up that much space. It's amazing, and I love that concept of the drone. Alright, so one thing that I'm not such a big fan about this drone is it only shoots JPEG photo, and it doesn't shoot portrait photo, as well as all video capabilities are in auto. You have literally no manual control over your camera, and that's super frustrating for me as someone who's constantly doing manual work with my DSLR. That is a bit of a bummer, but at the same time, for what you're paying for this drone, it is worth absolute every single cent. The auto settings are actually just so good because the auto settings that it would do is actually what I would use in a manual environment. So the sensor is so good even though it's that flippin' small. Another thing that I love about this drone, it's completely extra, not even necessary, is the battery pack. You only get this with the fly mode combo. So you get 1, 2, 3 batteries. Each one lasts for half an hour. Are you joking? Half an hour? This tiny little battery. You have an hour and a half of fly mode. It's actually filthy, it must be, because drones don't last that long. They last 10, 15, 20 minutes max. You don't hear this hour and a half business. And I've flown this drone at an hour and a half and it does it perfectly. One extra about this battery pack that's actually awesome is that on the side here there is a USB port there, so you can actually plug it in and charge your phone, which is super sick because you don't want to arrive to a location, your phone is dead, so you can't fly the drone, but all your batteries are charged. So to be able to charge your phone and sacrifice one of the batteries from your drone would be, it's like amazing. One thing that I do wish they changed was that it was a USB-C charger here on the side as well as on the drone, but I guess that would make the drone heavier, so fair enough. Alright, so the next thing that I'm not the biggest fan about this drone is the signal. It works off a Wi-Fi signal, which isn't the greatest because the like more upscale drones use like a whole GPS, sat-nav, satellite business there that I'm not really too sure about. But one thing I do know is the Wi-Fi isn't the greatest because the moment that I'm in a built-up area where there's a lot of other houses and other frequencies and other Wi-Fis, the range tends to be quite like bad. It doesn't get more than 300 meters, 400 meters at those points. But I have flown in scenarios where there is no other Wi-Fi like interrupting frequency areas, and I've gotten up to 1.3 kilometers with the drone. It does say 2 kilometers on the box, but when it says that, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. The only thing with this drone is because it's so small and light, it can obviously be like taken by wind quite easily. But I've flown this drone in some hectic wind conditions. and I've gotten away with it. The footage came out pretty good. The stabilizer in this gimbal is actually pretty good, surprisingly. I'm super surprised by that, considering the size and the weight of this drone, but this drone is an absolute beast. Another thing that I love about this drone is the video camera of it and the photo camera. It is absolutely so sharp, it's scary. It's almost sharper than my DSLR, to be honest. It does 2.7K at 30 frames a second and then 1080 at 60 frames a second. Most of the time I shoot at 1080 60 frames per second because my computer struggles to read that 2.7K resolution, and also I know they say film in the higher resolution so that you can crop in and still maintain that quality, but rarely I ever need to crop in because it is so stabilized, and it's just I don't really need to crop in at all. Also, I enjoy slowing down my footage. My camera also only does 60 frames a second, so slowing down your footage is very nice, especially with drone footage. Another thing that I love about this drone is that they didn't rip you off and make you have to use your phone screen alone. You're able to actually use a whole controller. This controller and the whole program is actually so user-friendly, it's ridiculous. Like a 4-year-old could probably fly this drone. It's not even a joke. You just plug your phone in like here and a cable on the side here. You switch it on. Here's your little what do you call them? Like antennas, I guess. And you got joysticks, and it's basically like playing Xbox except in real life. You get to fly your drone. Like, how cool is that? On the side here is your start filming and take a photo button. It's actually so sick, I can't lie. Also, a durability test. I have crashed this drone twice already, and the first time was from quite a flippin' height. Surprisingly, this drone has survived. There are some scuff marks on the actual blades. On this one blade over here, you can see, focuses, you can see how I actually broke the blade over there. I just switched the drone on again and it took off and flied with no problem. There's no shaking or anything, so I didn't see the need to replace the blades yet, because I don't want to unnecessarily replace blades and then have to spend money on buying new blades. Another thing that's quite tricky with this drone is that even though it's 249 grams and doesn't fall under these regulations and laws and things, it's still a very tricky situation with these drones. You don't know where you're allowed to fly it, and you can easily get into trouble, and if you're posting your work all over Instagram, next thing you know, you might get a hefty fine. So if I were you, if you're looking to get a drone, first look up the drone laws in your country or your area so that you know that if you're even allowed to fly a drone in your area, because you don't want to spend this amount of money on a drone and then you can't even fly it in the area that you are. Then there are things like drone licenses. Here in South Africa, they cost so much money. It's worth the money though. It is something that I've been looking into, but currently South Africa is in this lockdown, so there's not much I can do at the moment. Everything has kind of been put on pause. But as soon as it's over, I want to get into this course so that I can get my drone license. Another thing about this drone that's amazing is the ease of flying. The app itself is different from the usual drone app. It is so easy to fly. Literally, the first time I took off with the drone, I didn't even know how to land it. I had to figure out how to land it while it was hovering right in front of my face. It was so easy to land, literally just holding down the analog stick down, and then it just like picks up the surface and lands. So easy. As you can see here on screen, on the right is where the recording or the take a photo button is. On your top right, there's your settings. There's not that many settings you can change, but it's cool to have some variety. Then on your left, here's your RTH, which is your return to home button. If you lose sight of your drone or you can't control your drone anymore, just press that button and it'll automatically land where it took off, which is such a sick feature to have because you don't want your drone flying away or falling out the sky. Another cool thing about this drone is the warnings it gives you when there's strong wind, when you're not allowed to fly in a certain area, all those cool things. It's cool to have these features around your drone so that you don't fly blindly and then you get into trouble afterwards. So my overall conclusion about the DJI Mavic Mini. Overall, it's a flippin' awesome drone, and if you're looking into getting into aerial photography, videography, I recommend it 110%. But if you already have like a Mavic Pro, a Mavic Air, I wouldn't say get it, because those drones are better at the end of the day, and you are able to do much more with those drones. For example, like raw photo and much more manual control of your video. But if it's more about the fact about getting that angle and getting those extra perspectives, then I recommend it 110%. It is the best drone to get into the market of aerial photography. It's also a really good tool to have to be able to build up your aerial portfolio so that you can build a bit of a client base around your aerial photography and videography, hopefully being able to make enough money to be able to invest into a much more expensive drone like a Mavic Pro 2, Mavic Pro 2 Zoom, Phantom, and all those other lovely toys. If you don't have a drone and you want to get into aerial photography, then I recommend this 110% because it'll learn you how to use a drone. It's also super easy to learn how to fly this drone, as well as it's all about getting that extra angle and perspective and not necessarily about extreme matters of capabilities. So yeah, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys are able to learn something from today's video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Check me out on Instagram for all my work. I post some of my drone work there as well, and I hope you guys have a good one. See you guys in the next one.